Welcome to MCRM Show. On today's episode, we have PragerU's Witt, who you may know from his hilarious Man on the Street interview videos, as well as his recent video over the Boy Scouts controversy, which has gone viral. Thanks for joining us, and we're going to jump right in.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing well, Will. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Didn't realize this was so far down. Okay, how's that?
Yeah, looks good. Looks good. Hair looks nice.
Hey, thank you. That's the most important thing, let me tell you. So.
I feel it. I just wear the hat to make up for my terrible hair.
Yeah, I'm sure it looks fine.
So I saw on your Instagram earlier today you're hanging out with Candace Owens. You guys have big things going on?
We had a few things going on. I mean, she was down here in LA, and she was actually on Dennis Prager's show with Charlie Kirk. She was on his radio show.
Oh, wow.
And so they were working on some stuff, and they were talking about basically President Trump's decision on kneeling in the NFL and what he was talking about that. So, and then she went to the Daily Wire and did some stuff over there with Ben Shapiro, and then also visited us at PragerU. So it was great to see her. You know, Candace and I are great friends, and Charlie Kirk came in as well. So really good to see all of them.
Oh, that's awesome. Sounds like you guys are busy.
Yeah. Well, we just put out a new video today, which was insane. It was incredible. I don't know if you saw it yet. It just went out about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. But I'll check it out after this.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyways, I had a few questions I wanted to get to. The first is, what sort of started you in your role at PragerU? Like, how did you come up, and how did you get the job, and what is a social media influencer all entail?
Yeah, everyone always asks me what a social media influencer is. You know, it's kind of a new thing, or at least something that you wouldn't think about in politics, right? So I was actually in college in Colorado for 2 years. And then I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take the leftist jargon that was going on. I couldn't take the socialism's great, and you have this white privilege over other people that I'd never, heard of before. And so I couldn't take all of this, and so I ended up dropping out of school. But I actually, before I went to university, I wasn't all that conservative, and it was university that actually made me conservative, seeing all these different ideas and viewpoints that were so blatantly leftist and towards some sort of leftist agenda, right?
Yeah.
And so I heard about PragerU, I found out about them, and applied for an internship with them, and got the internship with them. And then a few months after that, about 6 months after I did my internship with them, I came back and started working for them. And really the thing that drove me to work with them is their mission, which is just wonderful. I mean, they're reaching millions and millions of people every single day with their videos, and I've been able to be so blessed with getting so many video views on everything I'm doing, a lot because of PragerU's marketing team being so good at what they do. But basically, a political influencer, a social media influencer, is living a lifestyle of the brand and of politics that I'm trying to get across, right? So you have influencers on social media who are influencing you to maybe go buy tea or buy kale chips or something like that, right? And that's what those people do. But for me, I'm influencing political ideas. I'm influencing my ideas, my videos as well, and really kind of just showcasing to people that you can live a lifestyle like this. It's not just you see the video and it's done. It's like politics is, and how you think about these things, is an all-encompassing ideal, right? So it kind of stretches beyond that. So that's really what I've been working towards, and it's kind of a new thing that a lot of people haven't really gotten into yet, I guess, in the political world on social media. But I mean, with the power of social media, it's everything to be on there. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've noticed, quite a few of your Man on the Street videos. The views are, huge. I think a few were like over 600,000, maybe even more than that.
Yeah, well, I did one. I don't know if you saw the one I did on the Boy Scouts. That one has about 14 million right now. That one went viral, and
oh wow,
and it was insane. I've never had anything like that to happen to me before, so I was just as shocked. I'm sitting there one day, put out this video, and I thought, I wanted to make a video that was for people who don't really have a voice, right? These Boy Scouts, they don't have a spokesperson who's going to go and talk to them about girls shouldn't be in the Scouts. And so I decided I should make a video as a fellow Eagle Scout. And for some reason, people just loved that, and it really took off, and I got 14 million views now. So it's just crazy how those things happen.
Yeah, that one makes a lot of sense to me, because I was in the Boy Scouts. I was a terrible Boy Scout. I was in there for the pranks and the terrible oatmeal and all that.
Yeah, no worries.
But
it's all good.
My older brother was an Eagle Scout. But thinking back, for both of us, the way that we kind of operated in the Scout system, I mean, it's definitely a male masculine kind of environment that I don't think is conducive to little girls. Like, I wouldn't want my sister to go and hang out with guys like us. Like, you know, we're learning from other men, doing crazy stuff, playing with knives and fire and all that, and you know, learning safety as well. But yeah, it
Hmm.
seems like a strange idea.
Yeah, well, it's even like, even if let's say girls wanted to do that stuff, and you have a lot of girls who want to go camping, work with knives and all these different things that the Boy Scouts do, the Girl Scouts should either change their program so that it's more centered towards what girls actually want to do, or the girls need to just make a new program. It's not up to the Boy Scouts to go and make our program now for girls because their program isn't good enough. Go make your own program. It's not my job to fix it and now have to have a
Yeah,
bunch of little girls, running around with all the boys and distracting them from what they're actually doing.
yeah, it's what like what Jordan Peterson says. You know, get your own house in order before you criticize the rest of the world. It's like if you
Exactly.
want to change it. Don't make someone else change it for you. Which brings me to my next question, which was how was it sitting down with Jordan Peterson and talking to him? I had the honor of going to one of his talks in Washington D.C.,
Mhm.
which was amazing. The energy in the room was just incredible. But what was it like to actually sit down and kind of pick his brain for a little while?
It was very cool. I mean, he's just like you would expect. Like you go and talk to him. Like I was before I usually do my interviews and stuff. I talk to them, just a little beforehand, get them loosened up, and I talk to them about breakfast. And I'm like talking to Jordan Peterson, and most people are just like, "Oh, I had cereal or some eggs or something." Jordan Peterson like psychoanalyzes like the breakfast that he had and like how it depicts you as a person, which is just funny to me. How those things kind of happen. But he's just so incredibly smart and articulate and able to just motivate people like no one I've ever met before. And when I did that interview, it was a little bit earlier in my career. It was when I was just starting to do these kind of things, and didn't have as much formal training and much experience. So looking back on it now, I wish I did some things different with it and did it a little bit better. But just being able to talk to him was just so amazing, and I'm such a huge fan of his in every single way. So.
That's awesome. And yeah, I think with the thing with new media that people are figuring out is you kind of jump into it without a lot of training and just sort of figure it out as you go, which I think that's a great way to do things. I mean, it's the same. I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy. They say it's the same thing. So
Hmm.
you learn by doing it. You don't
Yeah,
you don't just sit at home and think like, oh man, how should I do this? It's like, hey, you gotta kind of put yourself out there a little bit, which I guess is
exactly.
exactly what you do in your role. Is you're always putting yourself out there.
Hmm. Yeah, well, exactly. It's like you want to teach someone to swim, just throw them into the water and let them go swim for themselves, right? And it's like, I had no formal training with any of these sort of things, with making videos or editing videos or doing interviews or giving speeches or anything. I was just a regular college guy who just loved these ideas and felt like we need to make a change in this country. And so I learned all of these skills and I developed them and I practiced so that I would be able to do these sorts of things because I deeply and truly cared about these issues, right? And we needed someone to be a voice for these people and to, make changes in society. And so I took it upon myself to learn these skills. And, if people aren't willing to take the first step and, do the grunt work and do the hard things, then we're not going to make the changes in this country. The whole country is going to turn into what California is now if we don't have people who are willing to stand up and do things that are hard.
Yeah.
So it's definitely about just going for it. Just go for it.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm curious with California, do you think there will be a state split? I mean, I've heard some people say it'll split into two different states, maybe three. What do you think about that?
It's super strange, right? Because it's like I'm in Los Angeles. I live in Hollywood myself, which is just like the most leftist, horrible place in the world. But, if it were to split into two or three states, I'd be stuck in Hollywood, which would be one of the most leftist like parts of the country that would just be like so horrible, like completely alone. I personally don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I don't think that the left here in California, liberals in California, are going to let that pass. I mean, they're going to lobby against this bill if that even it's getting on the ballot, but I don't think that they will ever let something like this gain traction, and they will make sure that people think that this is just the worst idea ever and it's going to be the end of California and the end of America. And also, we have 50 states right now. It's kind of the reason why we didn't add Puerto Rico. If you add one more star to the flag, I mean, it's going to make the whole thing look terrible. So I honestly think that like aesthetic part of it is a huge deal,
Yeah.
to at least not maybe not so much to me, but to a lot of people. So.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I do wonder with Puerto Rico? Because a lot of what I've heard is that the major benefit of living there is low taxes. And I know some people have moved there and put their businesses there just for that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
oh, go ahead.
if they were to become a state, their taxes would, go up. So
Yeah, definitely. So what's next for you at PragerU? I really enjoy the man on the street videos. I think most people do. I mean, they're hilarious. Do you have any type of other thing you're doing? You mentioned speaking. Are you doing any tours or anything?
yeah. So next semester, I'm going to be going on a tour around college campuses and speaking. So I'll be working out all the dates for that and basically getting that out to all my followers and people who follow PragerU as well. And they can bring me to your campus. So if you see this and want to bring me to your campus, find me on social media and hit me up. I'd love to come and speak. So I'll be doing that. But I think the biggest thing that we're working on, well, today we also put out the new Man on the Street video where people in Hollywood, couldn't name the vice president. They didn't know who the vice president was, but they hated him anyway. So
that makes sense.
That makes sense. That's how these people are. But the next biggest thing, we want to do something, I'm not going to give away too much, but we want to do something where we're talking about homelessness in California, which will be a little bit different from my normal Man on the Street videos, so stay tuned for that. And then we want to do a different one where we talk to people about their love for America. So that's all I can say on those, but stay tuned, and they're going to be they're bigger productions than I think we've been working on, a little more ambitious, but some things that I'm really excited about. It's a new direction for me, something I haven't worked on before, but I think they'll really pay off in the end. So really looking forward to the new stuff.
Yeah, sounds great, man. So what's it like working for Dennis Prager? It's interesting. My dad used to read his column. I think he still does, but when I was a kid, so I don't know how old I was, probably 10, 11 years old, and I was reading his column. And so when I started watching PragerU on YouTube, I was like, hey, I know that guy.
Yeah, right.
What's it like working for, such a powerful man?
Yeah, Dennis he's amazing. I remember, first meeting him, and it probably took me about 3 times to meet him until he finally remembered me. Back in the day when I was interning and doing all that kind of stuff. Finally, when I started working here, he then remembered me. But he's such a great guy, and I think what he talks about has been such a huge inspiration for me, because he's not just talking about candidates or things that are going on in the news or certain bills that are passing. He can relate every single thing that's going on to a moral issue that then stretches out into your life. Like he talks about being having gratitude and being gracious for things, right? And that goes into being gracious as a conservative trait. So leftists aren't grateful for things. This is why they're entitled. This is why they're unhappy. And that conservatives are grateful, right? And so these sorts of things, they all tie together. And it's so awesome to see these ideas that he has constructed of that. And, it's been so inspiring to me and really changed my outlook on a lot of things. I've become much more religious than I was before because of Dennis and his teachings. I wasn't too much before. So, working with him and talking to him all the time, it's just like, it's a blessing for me.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I think gratitude is one of the most important things to have, because, to be born in America, that puts you miles ahead of 99% of the world. And it seems that of course there's issues and there's things you want to fix and make better, especially homelessness, which is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I was hearing Joe Rogan talk about that a lot. But it seems ridiculous to hate America or hate our system when the founding fathers came up with just the most brilliant set of ideas probably in the history of government.
Yeah. Well, it's like I did that video where I was asking people if they're proud to be an American, if you've seen that one. And it's so crazy, the amount of people who just aren't proud to be an American. Like, you can leave. They don't have to stay here. They can go anywhere else in the world. They can go to Sweden, where they're about to have a bankrupt economy, or Denmark, or any of these other places, or China, or Russia. Any of these places. Venezuela is one that they love to say that they'd love to go to.
Good old Bernie Sanders endorsed Venezuela.
Yeah, exactly. But it's really such a shame to see, because there are so many great things about this country that make it the best country in the world, and that people want to complain. The fact that we have so many people complaining about America in America, I think shows why we're the best country in the world, because they have the right to say that. The people in Venezuela and North Korea, they're not complaining about their country inside their country because they can't. They aren't allowed to do it, and they're not free in those countries. So It's really sad to see people who hate America, and we're working, and I'm working really hard to try and bring that back. So
Yeah, I think it's great to bring an air of positivity, and I think a lot of the kind of the disliking or hating of America comes from naivety. I mean, if you knew what it was like in other countries, you'd be like, okay, I'm pretty glad that I'm here. Like I was
oh yeah,
blessed to be born here.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've never been to any of these other places. It's crazy.
But yeah, with freedom of speech, seeing some of the things that are happening in the UK, it's kind of terrifying thinking that there's people here who want to limit speech, and I mean that just takes away your freedom. It's like, why would you want to give your freedom away?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at what happened to Tommy Robinson in the
Yeah,
UK. The UK is going downhill in every single way. It's scary to see what's happening there. Sadiq Khan wants to ban knives and all these different things. Like it's horrible what's going on there. They don't have a Second Amendment or First Amendment. It's terrible to see. And so if we let that happen to America, it's going to be a horrible day for all of us, and it's probably going to be the biggest tragedy in world history because America has, consistently been the freest nation that's ever been created. So to see something like that happen and have the downfall of America be our rights taken away, it's incredibly troubling to think that that is something that could happen. So, and people need to be able to have the freedom to say what they want to say, to protest what's going on in these other countries and protest what's going on in America. And still, these leftists in America want to bring what's happening in the UK to America, and I don't understand it. It makes no sense.
yeah. Well, I definitely see with people like you kind of getting these conservative libertarian ideas out to young people, future voters or even current voters, and it seems like there is a really positive shift in the direction of free speech, facts over feelings, that whole thing, and I think it's a great direction that we're moving young people towards.
I think so too, definitely. There is a red wave in the millennials. People don't want to realize it, but you look at the map of counties in California and you have Los Angeles that's blue and San Francisco that's blue, and the rest, for the most part, is pretty much red. There are people, they are the silent majority of people.
Yeah.
So
Well, I appreciate it, man. I guess do you got to jump off here now?
I got to jump off, man, but I really appreciate having you on, or having me on today.
Yeah.
It's great, man. I really enjoyed this. So
Yeah, thanks for coming on,
thank you.
man. Keep up the good
Yeah.
work. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, man. Let me know if you need anything else ever.
That'd be
So.
awesome, man. Thanks.
No one's beside me. I'm feeling alone. Yeah, sitting on this red couch, wishing that someone would hit me on the phone. Yeah.
Thanks to Will for joining us today, and thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to follow us on social media and get more of our content, we'll have all the links below, and we'll have new episodes out soon. Stay tuned.